why you're not becoming the person that you want to be. And I'm going to answer that today. I think two things. One is you probably have never even thought about the person you're becoming or who you want to be. And you probably don't have a vision of your future self, of who you want to be. And so two things we're going to talk about today in part of our Design Your Life series is why you're not becoming that, which I just gave you part of the reasons, and how you can become the person you want to be. And so I just want to talk about a few examples from my own life. I have shared with you guys that one of my goals this year is to have better interactions with people. And the reason why I chose to start having better interactions with people in my day-to-day life, besides my friends and my families and my coworkers, is because those small little interactions in life, they can cause stress, they can cause frustration, and they can affect your mood. They can affect how you interact with others. They're going to affect how you interact with your family, and they will help form who you are becoming. Okay, because if you live a life in stress or frustration, and all these small interactions you have at the grocery store, or the bank, and everywhere else will help form that. And then you're going to come home and you're going to have bad interactions with your family. You're going to be more stressed in your daily life. So all of those small things impact you and actually end up being bigger than they should be, because really they're quite insignificant. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. Yesterday I kind of didn't do my best. I went into the bank. I really don't like banks. I don't, I know that sounds funny, but I just don't like to go to the bank. I find the bank tellers are usually really frustrating. And so I went in there and I was with my husband, and we walked out and he said to me, "Wow, you were really cold. Like you were just like stonewalled." Like there was like no smile, no friendliness. You were just there. I was like, "Well, was I rude?" And he's like, "No, you weren't rude. You were just stonewalled. You definitely, gave a vibe. Not a great vibe, but you definitely sent out a vibe." And at first I became a little bit defensive. It's like, it's because the bank frustrates me. And then after pondering it and really thinking about it for a little while, I thought, you know what? He's right. I walked into the bank already with the thoughts triggering me of past experiences at the bank that have frustrated me. I walked into the bank already frustrated. I walked into the bank already with a wall up. And so when those sort of things happen, you can choose. You can choose when somebody says, "Hey, this is what happened." You can choose to be defensive. You can choose to justify it. It's always really easy to justify your actions. And in my case, I did a little bit, but then I realized, you know what, my husband's right. I got to listen to this because I am choosing who I want to become, and I'm being intentional about it, right? I'm trying to be intentional about it. So part of that means thinking about my daily interactions with others and processing that and thinking about what was good and what was bad. So let me give you another example. If you want to be known as somebody that finishes something, maybe you're a quitter, you always quit, and your friends and family make fun of you because you're a quitter, you never finish anything. And it's kind of become a joke maybe now in life, but it's really kind of not funny because you're just not finishing things. You need to be intentional about that because that is who you have become, whether you've wanted it or not. And you got to stop and think, is that who I want to be in my future self? And if not, you need to make some serious changes in your life. And this can go along with anything. Maybe you want to have better relationships with your friends and family. Maybe you're gossipy and you're known to be gossip. I think in a lot of workplaces, I work in a workplace that we don't have a lot of that, which is absolutely amazing. But there is a lot of people that work in a lot of workplaces or have a lot of friends that have that gossipy person in their life that everybody just accepts because they're gossipy and that's who they are and that's okay. But ask yourself, if that's you, is that really what you want to be known for? Is that who you want to be your whole life and be known for? And that's your future self? I would hope that that wouldn't be. And you can change that pretty easily by, first of all, catching yourself when you start to do it. learning to not say things that you shouldn't say, um, learning to become a more trustworthy person. Because if you're a gossipy person, you are not a trustworthy person. You are not somebody that people go to confine in, or somebody that people wants to have strong alliances with. You will break friendships and relationships, and your life will always kind of be in a little bit of chaos. Okay, and you're creating that too. So, and again, that's your choice. That's, you are becoming that because that's what you're living out. And if you don't want to become that, then you need to be intentional about how you will stop that. And that stops one step at a time. First, you got to catch it, right? Then you got to start to change it. Okay. And then as you change it, you will create that to be a habit. And you're going to become a better person in the future, right? So what you're trying to do is, you're asking yourself questions. You're asking yourself, who do I want to become, right? What do I want to be known for? What kind of vision do I have for my future self? Who is that person in the future? What do I see myself as? And then ask yourself simple things like, how can I get there? Like, what are things that I'm going to do to get there? And you have to start acting on those now, right? So you start acting on those in small ways that are very intentional to get there. So let's talk about another example. Maybe you're a busy mom and you get frustrated sometimes, and you get a little bit angry, and you just kind of, lash out at your kids a little bit. And after you feel guilty, you don't want to do this. You want to have a great relationship with your kids, but your frustration is damaging your relationship with your family. Okay. So you need to stop. You need to look at that. And the first thing you need to do is to start becoming intentional in those moments to stop your reaction, because you're responsible for your reaction. So stop that and see, once you catch yourself the first time, the second time, it'll get easier and easier. And it might not be right away. It might be halfway through a sentence or whatever it is. Own it. Apologize. Don't make excuses. Then try to change your response in the future. Whether that's, now I've caught myself, I need a minute, walk away, calm yourself down. Maybe you need to take a break for a second. Maybe you need to take a break for an hour. Maybe you need a moment alone. Maybe you need to take a deep breath. Whatever it is in that moment, find what works for you and start acting on those things. So what you're doing is you're starting to align yourself with who you want to become. Okay. I think most people don't think about it. And then as people do start to think about it and try to become more intentional, what happens is they go back to their old ways because it's easy and it's comfortable. So, and your family and your friends might accept it. That's the other part, right? Is that if you've been that way, it's just kind of like, oh, whatever, she's always been that way. I've always been that way. You got to accept it. That can be a lot. Like, I know I have somebody in my life that I can think of right now, and they'll say that, this is just the way I am. It's like, okay, that's great. You have attitude and you're actually kind of rude. But it's okay. Everybody's just supposed to accept that you have attitude and you're rude because that's just who I am. But that's not who you have to be, right? So stop and think about those things. I think sometimes too is that people feel safer in their old identity, if that makes sense. Like, it's safe and it's not easy, but it's kind of like that quote that you hear, like there's two types of pain. There's the pain in staying in your dysfunction or your pain, or there's the pain of actually working through it, getting counseling and dealing with the issue. There's the two types of pain. To me, it's the same thing. It's almost like, this is my safe spot. This is who I am. Everybody's just got to accept me. This is who I am. And our society is very much so like that nowadays. Just accept me for who I am. And yes, we should accept people for who they are, and we should give people grace for who they are, and embrace people and love them for who they are. But we still should want people around us to become better people and to be thinking about who they are in their future. So these are just some things that I've been thinking about. How do I behave differently to become the person I want to be. So these are just some small things for you to put into practice. This is just, why you're not becoming who you want to be. You can become who you want to be. Think of your future self, and come along with me for, part of my Design Your Life series. This is a series. It's small. It's just practical little things that you can do just to make your life better. And so if you like this video, please like and subscribe, share it with a friend. And I hope these little tips help you in your life and that you start thinking about how to become better. All right, take care.